All right, everyone. Well, I'm ready to begin final assembly of the Boss 429 independent rudder IR intake and carb system. So I've got two versions of them, one with and one without a water neck. I'm going to start the final assembly on the one without the water neck right now. And you can see the two finished machine castings here. And this is the valley plate. We can have a look at the bottom side of the intake manifold that it mates to here in a second. But I machined O-ring groove all the way around the perimeter and made a big O-ring out of O-ring cord and glued the ends together. And it's my little sample piece here for gluing them together. The glue joints are quite strong on that. And then I put all the round O-rings and the rope O-ring into a bag with some lube smeared in it and lubed them all up with O-ring lube. And I'll probably be dropping wrenches for the rest of the day because of it, because I can't get the O-ring lube completely off even with solvent. But anyway, so it's ready to assemble onto the bottom. And let's have a look at what the bottom of the intake looks like here. All right, hopefully you can see that pretty good, but it's got a lot of features in it. And one of the first ones I'll point out is that I've got these little communication vacuum ports that are drilled through to each runner. And in each one of those ports, there's a set screw like so, and they're hollow set screw, at least the ones that are in there. I drilled 147 thousandths holes in, which is pretty small. On that, some folks may run these communication ports just by taking the set screw out, so the full 5/16 diameter of each port is exposed. I have not Loctited these in. I don't think they come out. They physically can't come out because they'd run into the valley pan before they came all the way out. But I leave them like that because it's up to whoever's setting up the intake and the specific engine combination as to whether you run the smaller holes, the larger holes, or you just put solid plugs in. And of course, if you put solid plugs in, it's really not a vacuum plenum anymore because there's only one port here, unless you pipe vacuum in from somewhere else to it. You can use it as an auxiliary plenum. But anyway, so those are in there. And the mating surface, of course, has been machined. And then there's a lot of holes in there. There's 22 number 10 screws, and these are drilled for safety wire. And some folks will put them in and just use Loctite, but I would never put a screw like that exposed to the inside of an engine without safety wiring it. So, but when I ship them, unless the customer tells me otherwise, I'll include all the lock wire, but I won't actually run and twist all the lock wire because you may want to get in there and change the plug. So anyway, I'll go ahead and assemble that on the bottom. And I do that by just setting it on the plate and then moving it upside down and putting all the screws in. So that's what I'll do next. We'll stop back and take a look at the next step in the assembly process after I'm done with that. Stay tuned. All right, so I got the system built up and completed. You can see it sitting here with a couple of freshly rebuilt and restored Inline Autolite B carbs. The air filter, the cast air filter assemblies are sitting there in the background. I'll show you a couple of still photos with those mounted, but I just wanted to maybe pay attention to some of the details that I do to this system. We already talked about the valley pan and the built-in plenum and communication port system, but I put quite a bit of effort into the linkage on these IR setups because good linkage is really key to getting them to stay tuned, once you tune them on that and operate efficiently. So I'll show you some close-up still photos of those, but in short, I've got a built-in wide open throttle, adjustable wide open throttle strap here and idle stop, and all the bracketry is built out of 1/8 inch steel plates, so it's good and rigid. It's got the square configuration, square hole configuration that receives the standard Boss 9 or Ford accelerator cable and distance. And it's got one of the clamp on, clamp off ball joints there that interfaces with the threaded stud on the 1032 thread on the end of the standard accelerator cable assembly. It's got this bell crank that you can take a closer look at here in the still photos, but it's got a cast post that it sits on and a cast bell crank arm that's set in ball bearings. And all of the rod ends are Teflon lined stainless steel, so they don't require lubrication, which more importantly means they don't collect and attract dirt as quickly as ones that do. But the carbs are all freshened up, of course, or gauged and blueprinted, and all of the steel parts have been replated, yellow zinc, as have the accelerator bracket parts on that. And the other thing that I have to do is I have to drill and tap an extra fuel port and plug the stock one, because otherwise it'd interfere with the IR linkage. And one of the things that's not on here that you don't see is I also make a fuel log that mounts right here and basically connects this port and the backside of this port up here to a single -8 AN fitting on the front, or it could be on the rear too. And also the same thing on the left, because on the IR systems, there's a left and a right. It all gets to be, a little bit pricey because you've got a custom intake and you've got 2 inline Autolite carbs. So I just allow people to option it up however they want it, on that, whatever the pocketbook allows. And some people have different tastes in how they want to do the fuel plumbing. But anyway, I'll stick a couple of close-up photos of the linkage stills in that follow this, and I'll do the same thing with the air filters mounted, so you can get an idea of the cosmetics, of that. But yeah, it's a nice system, and somebody is going to have a really nice system here for their Boss 9. This particular customer's got a stroker Kazi headed Boss 9 build, so should be interesting and fun and novel to be sure. So have a look at the pictures, and if you get the chance, take in my website. The link is in the beginning or in the video description. Just click the link and you can check that out. Until next time, take care.